Hey, Bobby Moats here.
Hey, my name is Riley.
Hey everybody, this is Michael and you're listening to Sepculo Live. All right, fancy music and intro music is over. We are here. This is Michael and Bobby, Sepculo Live, episode 13. Been a bit, Bobby. We have been so busy that we just have not been able to jump on here and commit a full hour of our time. That's got a lot to do with a few things. Number one, you have been heavily face down coding in your books and coding to get things launched. And we've been adding clients like crazy, which has been awesome. A lot of conversations with a lot of big leaders, added two massive teams, two of the top teams in the entire nation to our client roster, which has been exceptional. Very excited about that. But yeah, and then just life, summer. Summer's been crazy for us. Like we finally got the kids back to school. What about you guys?
This was yesterday was the first day of school for my two youngest, and it has been so quiet the last day and a half. But
Yeah.
it's been really good. So all three of mine are back in school, and able to just get down, get some really deep work done has been awesome. And I'm sure I'm going to miss summer here in about 2 weeks and want to go back to all the crazy.
Yeah. Our summer was so long, but so short at the same time. It was full of family and fun and travel and just everything. But there's a part of you that's like, I'm so glad summer's over because, our kids at one point were like, what exciting, super awesome, incredible, well-planned thing are we running today? And it's like, nothing. We're getting ready for school in 5 days and you will go back and you will have fun and then we will get back on a schedule. So, but our kids are great. That's great. Well, good, man. Well, listen, we got a lot to go through. Obviously, we've been putting out a couple of other episodes. One great conversation with John Bowler, which was awesome. If you don't know John, former leader at the Zillow ecosystem, leader of LPT. He's now a leader in a new real estate brand that's just crushing life. And he's doing all good things there, but had some great context for us. And if you haven't heard that episode, you should go take a listen to it. But events. We have been doing the things with events. We were in Inman in San Diego, which was great. Riley and I had a chance to go out there and just get a chance to be in front of some really great teams, incredible leaders. Here's some really compelling presentations on stage. And the one thing about Inman is it really brings all the brokerages together. So we heard some innovative AI talks from pretty much every single brand, what they're doing, how they're embracing it. Any recommendations? We had some good thought leaders that are currently using AI at a high level. That was super interesting. So that was good. It was good to be in San Diego and just meet new people and really start to form new bonds, new relationships, new networking. That was super cool. And then you and me and Riley were just in San Antonio last week at Mega Agent, right?
Correct. Down there, meeting a lot of friends, having a lot of good conversations, talking about AI. AI was the big focus for that event. And, we were the AI experts in the room. So they were able to come out, get a little bit of taste and then get a real deep understanding of where we are in the industry at this point in time by having some good one-on-ones. So if you've ever been interested in what's happening in AI and you're not getting what you need from this podcast, shoot Michael an email. Don't shoot me an email. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It was great because, we found this happened at Inman too. We found that we were getting mentioned on stage, which is super cool without even no intentional, hey, we're in a panel or a fireside or anything. People are just talking about us as, the number one AI platform in real estate. And, we tout that in a sense of like, hey, we're the best. No one else compares to us. It's just we're having a lot of great successes. We're doing a lot of super innovative things. And, because we're in the trenches with our teams and with our partners, we're able to really contextually bring what people are needing right now. And that's no snake oil and just raw, real conversations to help people lower their P&Ls and increase their profitability and using AI as kind of the backbone of all of that. So yeah, it's been awesome. Summer was great. Things are good. And a lot of stuff going on in AI since we last talked. Holy smokes. And that's thematically like that always happens. It seems like AI moves so fast. And in that time, one of the biggest things that happened, like let's talk about OpenAI, right? Launch 5.0. And for other people listening that are business owners, if anything can go wrong with a new launch, it will. And 5.0, everybody's like, this is great. This is the second coming. Look at this giant spaceship that's going to happen. And like disappointment.
Yeah, you know what they did is they took all these, but at the end of the day too, whenever you release anything, whenever they update a button on Facebook, people get upset. Like
Yeah.
no matter what it is, people are going to get upset. So one of the biggest complaints that people had about GPT 4.0 was that it would basically every time you would tell it something and be like, "Oh, that's the most amazing thing I've ever heard. You are such a genius." It would just appeal to your ego tremendously. And so something that 5 did is it removed that. And then people who were upset about 4.0 doing that got upset that 5 didn't do that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, 5 was just they standardized the name of their models so that all these other models they bundled them all up and said, this is going to be 5. 5 is just going to determine which one to use instead of 304 4.0, 4.1, because they were all over the place, and people just got upset because they didn't know how to like. Well, what do I use now? Well, there's just one to use. At the end of the day, though, it is for us, it's a lot less flexible to use to leverage internally
Mhm.
because it does have it's going to decide for you versus you deciding how you want to use it
Yeah.
from a development standpoint. So, and it's not like head and shoulders above anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And look, if you're at a place where you know how to use 5 already, or you're like, I'm ready for 5, like I've upgraded my life to the point where now I'm so advanced. Good for you. You are probably one of the 1%. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm just an agent that wants to learn how to turn on my computer, don't dive into 5. Like don't do that thing. Find a
I
platform
mean,
that works for you and
yeah, don't worry about it. And if you open up ChatGPT, it's the only option you have at this point. So,
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I'm fortunate. I've been using 4 for quite a while. I've got a lot of my different pieces trained, whether it be for my real estate team, for our brewery, for even our home finance stuff, like whatever. Each one of those are individual modules that I use. I'm diving little bits into the 5 ecosystem, but even I'm like, I know what I know, and when I'm ready, I'll go. And I'll probably call Bobby and be like, Bobby, show me how to use this damn thing. But it just goes to align with find a good partner that can help you walk through these things and crawl, walk, run. Otherwise, you're going to get frustrated and you're just going to walk away from it and never want to open it again. And that
yep.
really isn't where you want to be. You need to be embracing where it meets you and finding a good partner that can show you, here's what we've done all the legwork. We built this part for you. Just plug it in, and then we'll show you how to get a little small tidbits every now and then.
100%.
Yeah, but it was a mass hysteria. 5 rolls out, then it's all over the news. Then like their founder is like getting lambasted of like, suck, you're the worst leader I've ever seen. It's just like everyone needs to calm down. Like, let's not forget that there's a lot involved here. A lot of things are still happening, and that's the next thing I want to talk about, which is something you brought up, which is agent mode. And now, like, don't get wrong, when you hear the word agent mode, if you're a real estate agent listening, we're not talking about AI creating real estate agents. Agent mode, Bobby, what is agent mode and how does it work?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, probably the coolest feature that OpenAI has released over the last couple months is agent mode. And a lot of people have not dove into this at all. But imagine if you had an AI that you asked it to do a task. Right. And this only if you're using Plus. So if you're paying for it with Plus or Pro, you get access to it. But imagine you asked an AI to do a task and then it went and it did it. No matter how long it took, it went out there and it made it happen. Across the web really is how that works. And so at the end of the day, agent mode is OpenAI's ability to not only use the web, but use the computer to accomplish something that you ask it to do. So maybe you want OpenAI to go book flights for you. It will do that. Maybe you want it to go tell you who you need to connect with on Facebook. It'll do that for you. It'll do anything for you that you feel comfortable giving it access to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
I
is
mean,
crazy.
it is crazy. I think that it's cool that, like, for me, my thoughts when I look at that is training modules, right? So I talk about this on stage about how I train my AI to devise and create the best golden letter training techniques, craft examples, and then I sit down with my agents and let's applicably create golden letters that are for areas that they want to farm into. And so, obviously there's a human component to that after the fact. You got to print them out, you got to, do your research and find the homes you want to go drop them off at. But that's all part of the training module. So it really makes a scalability factor for us of, when you think about it, how can I operationally train this agent to know more about my business than I do? And then how can I use that contextual data or information or learning. So if you want to use it as, a Phil Jones ecosystem, when you use your verbiage, maybe there's an agent that's doing this specific thing at the highest level and you want your AI to learn that. Or maybe there's a rollout strategy for your new coaching or training that you want it to do that thing, dive into this, give it a chance to do it. But let me say this, and I cannot say enough, audit what you're doing, audit what the AI creates for you, because sometimes it will think it knows what it's crafting. And a lot of times it can overstep its boundaries or be unfamiliar with the actual things or the verbiage that you want it to avoid. So make sure that once it creates it, you're still auditing. Don't get lazy.
Yeah. End of the day. Yeah. I mean, I'm one of those people that will go in there and say, "Hey, book my flights for next week," and it will do it, and I'll just trust it to be right, and I'll just show up. But that's just me.
And then you've got 6 connections. You find Punxsutawney.
Be clear about what you want. Yeah, be clear about what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Very cool. Well, we've had a lot of things going on here, as we said, in the last few months. And rarely do we get into product information, but I think this is applicable to the thematic piece that we just talked about, the theme of rollouts, product releases, do they go perfect, etc. So there's a few things we've added that I think everyone should be looking for from the platforms that they use in real estate if you're using a kind of AI platform. And these are things we're doing and we're exceptionally proud of them. And it's drawing a lot of praise, a lot of engagement, and a lot of rebuilding. But Bobby, let's get into it. Let's talk about a few of our product releases, like contextual calling. That is an incredible shift that we seem to be the only one in the industry doing with our voice AI. And I want you to talk about why it's important and how it is different and why it's so cool.
Yeah. So if any real estate agents that are watching this or team owners have ever gone and tried to recruit anybody to work with you, whether it's a buyer's agent, seller's agent, ISA, whatever it is, somebody to work on the phones, we tend to follow the path of scripts, right? It's a whole conversation, scripts, whether you're taking classes, like this is the script you need to do, this is the script you need to do. But we all know, any of us that have been successful in real estate that have been doing it for a long time, that scripts by themselves don't work, right? It's the knowledge and the coaching and the experience that you gain while also understanding how the conversation should flow to be able to see success finally in what those scripts look like. Shayna, in her first 6 months of real estate doing open houses, was following scripts to the T, right? Or, mostly, and didn't pick up really anybody, right? For the first 6 months. After she figured out how to transform those scripts into, hey, these are just kind of coaching me in how to think and how to guide my conversation, then her business skyrocketed. And so one of the key components when we have our AI communicate, our AI Remy communicate with anybody in the database, it's that scripts suck by themselves, right? They're great architecture for in guidance to be able to help the AI understand where they need to get to and the questions they need to ask. But if you follow a script to the T, you're going to sound like a telemarketer every time. You're going to sound like an untrained ISA that doesn't really know what they're talking about or why they're talking about it. They just know how to read that script. And so a shift that we have made tremendously, and we can only do this because of the foundation that we've created, is to take everything that we know about a contact and everything we know about, why and the reason for the call and all that, and to give it more coaching, right? We'll give it the script, but then we'll also coach it and say, hey, this is how you should interact with somebody. It's the perfect ISA. It's the perfect buyer's agent, whatever it is. It's the perfect person to have that conversation. They just need to know what the scaffolding looks like to have a good one. But if you, and a lot of people make this mistake, is they tell the AI, I want the AI to say exactly this every time. Or they tell their ISA or they train somebody. And I guarantee the same way a human would fail if they said that same thing every single time, your AI is going to fail if it says that same thing every single time, because it's never the same situation. Every human on the other side of the line has different needs, different wants, different desires, different situations that they're in. And you can't just go through it dry and have a conversation with somebody who is mourning the loss of a loved one the same as somebody who is super excited to buy or sell real estate, or somebody who's telling you to F off, go away, right? It can't be the same conversation every single time. And it has to be specific to that human, to be as human a conversation as possible, to build trust. So ultimately they want to buy or sell real estate with you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So When we think of contextual calling and contextual conversation, essentially what we're saying is that our AI is grabs as many data points as possible from the things we put together into the brain to then bring context to the call, contextual calling. And so whenever you're coaching, and I'm writing this on the board, you won't see it obviously if you're listening, but I'll visually explain it or verbally explain it. Whenever I think about how to reach out to someone, the things I think about is number one, we're prospecting, right? We're prospecting into the actual opportunity itself. Who is this person? What are they looking for? And how do they, why would I be having a conversation with them, right? Maybe it's the listing that they looked at. Maybe they've been looking at a lot of homes. Maybe they raise their hand with a home valuation, whatever that is. So I'm prospecting into this person to find out, right? So then what we're doing from there is we're using that prospecting to begin to ask and set up what questions am I going to ask this person? Okay. Now, when after you ask these questions, the most important thing that comes next is the active listening, right? You ask the questions and then you actively listen to the answers so that you can move to the next place. Okay. The active listening is crucial because that's what we see with a lot of scripts with AI. And Bobby just pointed it out. AI that call out with scripts, and it's like calling someone, say, tell me why you're selling your home. Well, my husband just died. If the AI responds back with, oh, funny enough, we find a lot of clients that are in that situation, that is not active listening. And it's also not an empathetic response to that person's situation, right? So active listening is the next part. The next thing after your active listening is, again, ask more questions, right? Ask questions based on the answer that you've got. And then that way, what your next thing is going to be is you're going to get to a place of understanding. Now you understand where this person is. You understand whether it's their business, whether it's their current life situation, whatever that opportunity potentially presents itself. After that, we get to our mirroring piece. So you're going to repeat back to them everything they just said to you. You're going to summarize these things to this person so that they see that, and if I can move my board, they see that you're actively listening to them and you understand their needs, right? From that mirroring, then we can talk about the value offer. Let's summarize what you bring to the table that is directly in line with what they've already communicated to you, right? Now, here's where this whole thing of contextual calling, because once you can understand the value offer, you can understand if there's a fit between you and this person. Now, here's where the cool thing is about Bobby's built. The prospecting, the active listening, and understanding all come into the concept of contextual calling. This is what our AI does, right? It prospects, it asks the questions when it calls, it actively listens to the responses, it asks additional questions to gain understanding. And then the next thing is, that's amazing. I would love to connect you with a live agent right now. Can I transfer you, right? That is where the human component comes in for the value offer. And that's why we always say, I'm writing human component on the board. That's why we always say AI will never replace the agent. We don't want it to replace the agent. We want AI to engage in the prospecting, active listening, and understanding ecosystem so that when we make that live transfer, it can be a super compelling next step. And it's just a very fluid piece. So Bobby, you guys have built out this incredible contextual calling. And what is it that it allows our AI to do that's different?
I mean, the way that we've added it in, because we have all the information around contacts and we're pulling information from tremendous number of third-party sources to make sure that we know this person inside and out. We were able to pull all that data together and create stories about contacts that typically, as a human being, we'd be able to go in and say, okay, what do I know about this person? Especially as an individual agent that's on their Facebook, having conversations with them, you're able to internalize all that information and be able to contextualize, have a good conversation that's perfect to that person every time. And we're never going to be 100% perfect. It never happens, even with humans, right? But have a much more perfect conversation. And it allows those conversations to be as organic as they need to be, while also structured enough to guide that human to have a conversation with their agent.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about one of the tools. So you mentioned, like, obviously, I'm sure there's probably people listening that are going, but how are you, like, what is, like, give me one example of somewhere that you're pulling this information from. And I think a good place to talk about is our websites that we create, right? The natural language websites that we design. Additionally, how that plays into dormant lead re-engagement, right? What we call our re-engage campaigns. But let's talk about our language, our natural language sites. Why is that a great data point to pull from?
So because of our websites, we have the ability not only to look at saved searches that are more appropriate to those contacts, saved properties, but we also save the natural language searches. So if somebody goes on there and says, "Hey, I want to find a house for my dogs," right? Which is something you can't do on most search websites, then we automatically know, hey, this person has dogs and they want to find a property for their dogs. This is something that if you're a human being and you were connected with somebody and you're looking on their Facebook or looking on their Instagram or whatever, and if they're going to go search for properties for their dogs, they probably also have posts about their dogs. And so you're going to know that innately, and you're going to be able to have a quality conversation with them about that because we capture that information and
What
allow
do
it to be.
dogs need? What do all dogs need and want? What do homeowners want for their dogs?
They want a yard. They want a
That's
yard
right.
for their dog to be happy, period. And so or a nearby park or whatever it is. And because we have that information, we can have that conversation.
We can pull information. So we've got a great call that happened with a homeowner that was relocating because of a job relocation. And they were just searching at some homes and they found a place that met their budget. And because they were moving and were uncertain of the city right off the bat, they were just mostly looking for a condo in a really nice building. And so one of the locations they saw was that they went searching on one of our sites was a condo unit that had a backyard. And so the AI knew that this was true. It did have a backyard to it. And so the person asked additional questions. Now, I don't want to be on the third floor. I want to be on the ground level. Okay, yes, this is, and the AI got back, said, in fact, this unit is a ground level unit. And then the person asked, okay, I saw it had a backyard. Is that a shared backyard? Or is that my own backyard? And the AI got back to it immediately, to that person immediately, and said, this is your own backyard on a ground floor. So your dogs would have their own private space. That is a contextual call. That is the AI pulling that information. Now, additionally, when we think about that's an active person that's searching on the site. Let's talk about dormant leads, right? So we've got multiple clients that they're only 5% of their total database is actually what they engage with on a continual basis, maybe 500 people say. But that means there's thousands of people they barely even touch to stay top of conversation. With our re-engagement campaigns, the goal, push them back to the site so that Bobby's natural language sites can now grab more context. And then when that person suddenly goes, these 3 houses look great, the AI will reach out and they will use that contextual information in the call. They'll find out maybe it's schools, maybe it's backyards for dogs, maybe it's that they want, a suburban area. Maybe it's the 5 bedrooms, 3 baths seems to be the continual. Maybe it's the square footage, who knows? But that information gets pulled into the call. And now we're getting through the steps: prospecting, active listening, understanding, and then live transfer for the opportunity for the agent to do the value offer and find out if it's a fit. Super exciting stuff, dude. And you've been crushing it. You guys, our dev team, have just been like, and the great thing is like, you're not just like some tech nerd. You've got a team that's doing this right now. So you get it. You understand. You hear what they want, what they're looking for. So it's super interesting. So look, the contextual calling is a great rollout that I think is super, super cool. One of the other things that I think is neat that we've rolled out is our e-alerts. I want to talk about that. This is something that's brand new. You guys are working on right now. It's been launched in its 1.0 version, but tell me about e-alerts.
Yeah. So again, coming from the real estate agent side, when I was new in real estate, or when any of us are new in real estate, the way that we send properties to our clients is very personal. I found these properties that popped up on the market. They match some of the stuff that we've been talking about and you've been looking for. They're related to how their searches are set up, but not always exact, right? Because we as real estate agents understand the nuances of what our clients are looking for, and so we try to implement that inside of our e-alerts to not only provide what their search filters are for their safe search, but also to enhance that based on the properties that they're liking, the conversations they're having, the actual searches they're making with the large language model. Because when we do that, we get a more holistic home DNA style view of that contact, of that person, of that client, right? And so then we're able to send them emails that not only have better properties that match, but also because we are AI powered in everything that we're doing, it'll also talk to them about the same contextual things that we now with e-alerts, it's a little bit scaled back because it's very specific, but it will give them information Based on like, hey, I know we just talked about this yesterday, is what it's going to say. But here's some properties that better match what you're looking for. Let me know if you want to go meet your agent out there and go check out, the property at 123 Main Street. Like very specific to them, very specific to the relationship that we have with them, and also driving back to the agent all the time is more similar to what we did as agents when we started before we got, into these automated alerts because we wanted to be like Zillow.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's cool to think that that's an additional value out of a way to use tech to get more belly to belly, right? To get more face to face, and a way to use AI. Obviously, the MLS feeds, et cetera, can get you, your general or generic emails, et cetera. That hey, these may or may not be a good fit. But if you say something along the lines, and that's where the natural language is super interesting. If someone says, I want a spiral staircase and it needs to have a pool that's shaped like an olive. And suddenly the AI is constantly trolling for that. And it's finding those things to send you that specific thing. And maybe it's coming to market soon. It can allow you that really unique experience that gives scalability to your agents to then have that value, right? I know this to be true about this person because I went through the prospecting, active listening, and understanding notes that were pushed to my CRM from the Sepculo system. And now I also know that the AI is working in the background for me as an assistant, so to speak, to push these alerts to my client that maybe said, I'm not ready for 6 months. Let's be honest, it happens all the time. Agents meet with people and they're like, yeah, this is great, but I'm not ready for 6 months. The second you set them up for an MLS feed, which is a very old school model, they start getting those things in their inbox and they're like, okay, I'm ready now. Like I want to go now. And what was 6 months turns into 2 months. If you can do that, and even if somebody's hard pressed not to get on the MLS, can still start to get these contextual, emails in their inbox, you're able to really fast track. And it's a support tool that gives scalability and takes the bandwidth away from your agents. Yeah. Super impressive stuff, dude. What else have you got from product launches that you're excited about? Maybe even just like a little bit behind the curtain of things you guys are working on.
Man, the stuff that I'm excited about is a little bit of ways away, but we're getting so close to a place where the AI can have a phone call, an email, a text message, all in one cohesive conversation with the same, like with up-to-date relevant context for both from all different channels. Like, and when somebody's able to do that, or when an AI is able to do that, it's going to be more human in its approach, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited about some of our Ask Remy stuff that we're launching, where we're not only going to be able to bubble up AI-powered information around a contact for our users on our back end, but also have it take action on things, or pull property data for a contact and enrich the data of the contact because we have an AI that can go grab that data. I'm excited. I'm excited about some of our deeper synchronizations with some of the bigger CRMs, but it's man, that's just a lot. It's a work in progress. There's a lot happening. We're working constantly to make sure that we get this across the finish line, and it's fun. We have a lot of fun.
Well, here's something that's cool too. So right now we just saw Open Doors AI pivot. They're obviously the iBuyer ecosystem, and whether you like or don't like them is irrelevant. But the fact of the matter is that a highly investor-backed platform is literally moving to what we're bringing already. And the thing is like that's taking control out of the real estate industry and the real estate agents, base. It's taking them out of that ecosystem. A tool like what we're doing allows you to be competitive and on the same keel and same level as those groups, right? What we're talking about is a platform first position where you become that platform. You become the one that has all this AI power. And even if you're an agent that does 15 transactions a year, you have the same, what would I call it? Technology equity as these big groups that have hundreds of employees, investor backed and everything, that you're able to now bring the one thing that they can't do, which is local knowledge, belly to belly, and face to face interaction combined with years of experience. And it ideally puts it in the bucket where we all want to be, which is face to face and more knowledge. And we don't hoard that data. We want you to have that information. The second that person shows up, we want you to know everything about that person so that you can literally take them through a journey together, knowing it. Think about it like a boutique offering, or glamping, so to speak. You get to your campsite, your tent's already set up, you've already got your favorite snacks, you've got the water, you've got the next 3 days planned, and AI does it all for you. It's the same sort of thing of what we built here. And what a great way to scale your business, right? And if these big groups like Open Door are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to make this shift, you know that we're on the right path.
100%. 100%.
What about, is there any other chaotic things you've seen in the AI real estate space that you've been hearing about?
Man, it's all chaos right now. I've never seen so much move fast and break shit that I've seen lately. I mean, there's a lot of stuff popping up all over the place from the AI space, whether it's around, photos, obviously around client communication. I see stuff that like there's AI stuff popping up that's going to create some like automatic CMAs or what else? And that's like Rechat's model. There's a bunch of stuff out there right now. I think this is going to be it's like the Wild West, and the ones that are doing it with the agent in mind, with the best, tech out there, period, that are building tools that the agents are going to use,
Yeah.
are going to be the ones that succeed. But right now, they're all over the place. And when I talk to agents, I warn them about this all the time, and I say, hey, look at what's happening out there and take it with a grain of salt, and then make sure to test it out and understand that who's doing it with your benefit in mind versus trying to run their own play. An example of that, I mean, Open Doors' new AI pivot probably doesn't have the agent in mind. I don't know if anybody's looked at that, but everybody knows Open Door, especially from the agents watching this. And there was a lot of fear around Open Door coming in and replacing the real estate agent. That was their goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are actually moving to an AI powered platform themselves. Now, is that going to drive the agent out of business? Probably not. But as far as what they're doing, they're moving more towards focusing on investors and helping them to drive more business to investors buying, et cetera. It's not something that I've really dove into a lot, but it's something that they're trying to achieve right now. And is it going to succeed? I don't know. If it's just a big GPT model, essentially, that goes in and just gives them information about the best property to connect with, I mean, that's harmless in itself, but also everybody is generating that thing at the moment. And you can just go to Grok and say, hey, tell me which property to invest in out of all the properties listed on the market.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the ones that I'm super interested in right now that we've been watching and having some pretty deep conversations with, actually two. Number one is Maverick. So Maverick, if you have not looked at it, you should look at it. An AI coaching platform in the real estate space. Super interesting, really unique, putting together coaching modules for your agents. And I think it's super scalable, super cool for people that are really trying to bring more scalability as a like that kind of that director of sales role, using AI to help coach agents through transactions or coach agents through unique conversations with their prospecting. So I think that's really neat. You should check it out if you haven't already. The other one, if you are a broker owner, a market owner, that's more KW lingo. But if you own an office that currently has agents in it and you're defining the opportunity you're looking to define how to recruit, Corded is a great tool that I'm seeing exceptional things with right now. Think of it as a way to gather, we already talked about the points of prospecting, active listening, understanding. Think about that same contextual opportunity for reaching out to agents. So if you're not using Corded and you are someone that's looking to recruit, I would absolutely encourage you to check it out and look at incorporating it in your business, because it can definitely be a game changer for your recruiting conversations and who you recruit. So you're not just randomly shooting fish in the same barrel as everybody else. Super cool things. Bobby,
Yeah,
what you got, man?
Corded has been great. So what'd you say?
What else you got?
Gosh, my head is swimming, right? There's so much, and it's like, what do you boil it down to? I see all the AI things out there, and I'm like, well, hey, we could totally build that. But also, like, I know that we don't want to, like, you want to look for people that are going really, really deep on specific things, not going super wide. And so, like, what they're doing over at Maverick with coaching, what they're doing at Corded around recruiting, what they're doing at, there's some other companies that are popping up that are helping the back end for the brokerages, right, to help them in their transaction management and compliance and things like that. I think that as agents, we should be looking at all those things. I had a great conversation with an agent the other day, and this may be a little bit off topic, who is basically took everything that they do in their business and they wrote the list down of all the things that need to happen in their business on a day-to-day basis and have checked it off one at a time to get AI to take it over.
Yeah.
Which is huge. And they've eliminated high dollar positions in their organization because of it. And in a time where commissions may be suppressed because of, just the nature of the market, or home prices are dropping, we as agents need to figure out, how do we make more profit at the end of the day? And you're going to do that through bringing in leverage that is a lot cheaper than what you've had to pay for in the past. And I'm not saying go fire everybody in your team, because you have quality staff and people that are working with you. But if you're thinking about hiring versus not hiring, especially a lot of individual agents out there that are succeeding at a high level, build that task list and then try to find out, how do I get AI to tick these things off, so you can build the most efficient, profit first business possible. It's going to serve you in the long run, especially as AI gets smarter, gets better, and allows us to do a lot more things.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. Most teams have this struggle where only 20% of the agents on their team are actually producing, right? You and I have had multiple conversations now with friends, teams, whatever it may be, that are 40 people deep. And, you look at all their information, you're like, why don't you go down to 10? Just go down to 10. And, the thing that is a sin of the past is, I've got these holes. Well, let's plug it with more agents. Stop doing that. Start using AI to make it scalable for yourself, to get these activities that are kind of sucking your time up, and get these tools that traditionally you're getting tools that are just, let's add more leads and add more agents. And it's just like you're running on a treadmill. This is a way now with AI stacks to get your systems and operations more fluid and scalable, get your lead generation and ISA ecosystem more scalable, and get your opportunity for recruiting more scalable, right? And all of them can run in the background. And if you've got a leaner team that are all producing, now you don't have as many agents to feed. You've got something there that's already, you don't need a human body necessarily to run those things. So that saves your salary. And then you're actively having recruiting conversations with people that are defined opportunities, and not having to have 40 to get to one. So stacking that as your AI stack, I think could easily replace some of the things that we traditionally waste our money on, like Zillow, homes.com. Even though I like that they have the position of you're listing your lead, I'm seeing a lot of people that are just not having the success they're looking for. And granted, a lot of people go into those relationships with like, pie in the sky gold, this is going to change the face of my business. But at the end of the day, the best way to change the face of your business is to reel things in, control your ecosystem, and understand that you've got good partners that are doing the same, right? Not just one source of just leads. It's more than that. It's scalable ways that incorporate into all your businesses.
100%.
Cool. Okay, man. Well, I think this is good. That's our 30 minutes. That's episode 13 wrapped up. Bobby and I will be back again next week. Please hit us up on our social media if you're interested to connect with us. Check out Bobby's feed. He's always got some great stuff that he's producing on there right now. His content is pretty great. Sign up for our newsletter if you have not already. We are constantly releasing tech insights, industry insights, and AI knowledge through that. We've got the real event coming up. We've got EXPCon coming up. We've got LPT's event coming. We've got all these things that we're going to be at. So if you're in any one of those brokerages, please let us know. And, just watch our social media feed or our newsletter for upcoming things. And if you want us to come talk at your brokerage or to your team, do not hesitate. We do it all the time. We don't just talk about our tool. We talk about AI as a whole. And we love to do it. Anything we can do to help. Cool. All right,
absolutely.
Bobby. Thank goodness summer's over, brother. We're back.
Yes.
We're back, baby.
We are. Yeah. We're going to be consistent now, guys. It's going to be a lot of it. Keep watching. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. See you, man. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on the Sepculo Live podcast. We are very grateful for your support, as always. If you or someone that you know is interested to just get a consultation on how they're using AI in their real estate business, do not hesitate to hit us up through one of the links in our profile, or you can feel free to DM us on any one of the social channels. Stay tuned for more episodes, and make sure to like and subscribe to make sure that you get notified when our next podcast episode comes up. Thanks, guys.